Hello, 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 and welcome back to the Health and Wellness Podcast, the most informative and exciting podcast designed to give you some of the latest information on how to improve your health and wellness in your everyday activity. Again, I'm your host, Dr. Barry, MD. You can find me, of course, on the usual sites, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, the good old internet. Now, of course, if you want to actually find me on these socials and internet sites, check me out. Instagram, call letters at Drbarrymd. That's DRBARRYMD. My blog is www.controlyourweight, and that's weight spelled W8.com. And lastly, Facebook, www.facebook.com/next level weight loss, and weight is spelled normally there. All right, so now we got all the formalities out of the way. Let's talk about today's topic, and that is the effects of positive energy, how to create them, how to spread them, how to catch them actually. Now, positive energy is one of those terms that's been bandied about the medical, scientific, pseudoscience communities for the past decade. And it's never been officially defined by the official professional societies, quote unquote, but it's something that most people acknowledge as a real thing, as a real concept, even though we may not be able to quantify it exactly. So what is exactly positive energy, and what does it actually mean? Does it even make any sense? Is it just some pseudoscience, some slick person created so you can try to sell people gadgets and so forth? Some people may say yes, but I'm one of the few who actually think and agree that positive energy and negative energy, for that matter, are real tangible things that can actually be spread from one individual to the other. So it's very important that we kind of get a grasp on what positive energy is and how we can use it to our benefit, and so forth. So positive energy, as far as the definition I like to go with. Now, when we say energy is something that's usually not been well defined, especially in Western culture, there are some ways we can, or individuals, or I should say disciplines that have actually defined the whole energy concept. And one place I like to look as well for more info regarding the whole energy concept is the Chinese. Now, ancient Chinese philosophers have already, had their own theories regarding energy, and some of them can be very, very useful. One of the most popular concepts, known as the Feng Shui concept of positive energy, is a very ancient concept that teaches that there's energy constantly flowing everywhere. This energy basically represents life, health, prosperity, everything we find positive. And it's important that this energy is able to flow freely through us and around us. And there are things in life that we can use to actually obstruct the flow of qi, resulting in our energy being less than positive. Now, of course, this is just one theory, the Feng Shui theory, but there's tons of theories. Hell, the Jamaicans have come up with their own concept of energy. I'm sure you guys are familiar with the concept of positive vibrations or positive vibes, something that Bob Marley and many famous dance hall artists popularized in reggae music. Now, the concept of energy is obviously something real, even though there's no official quantifiable measure. It can't take a test and say, okay, you have this much energy, you have that much energy. But there's something that most people will agree they can feel. Meaning, if you go into a situation where there's people who are very positive and very uplifting and very motivational to each other, you will likely see positive things occur as a result of those people hanging around one another. And when I say positive, I'm referring to things that are positive in the cultural dynamic of the individuals in question. However, because positive energy, we all know exists, and we all have our own ways of trying to quantify and identify what is positive and what is negative in our lives, the flip side also must exist as well. Because we all know that for everything that happens there's an equal and opposite reaction. I think there was some famous physicist who said that. But the reality is, positive energy is something very real, and we have to make sure we try to maximize the positive energies and experiences that we immerse ourselves in, because most people will agree that if we are around positive people, thinking positive thoughts, surrounded by positive vibes, quote unquote, chances of positive things happening is far higher. And I think we all know this. As far as my specialty, which is weight loss and wellness, we see this quite a bit as far as people who are around other people. For example, you have a bunch of people who want to improve their health by eating better and losing weight. It's far more advantageous for you to be around other people with similar goals, who have similar ideals as far as losing weight and being healthier, exercising more, than those who don't. And that's something that we'll talk about in more detail toward the end of the podcast, as far as ways to improving your positive energy. But the key is getting around others who have similar or ideal vibes that you're trying to emulate is critical. And that actually plays into how the whole energy concept works. But in a nutshell, positive energy is something that we need to try to figure out how to improve or increase in our lives, so that we can hopefully maximize our effectiveness in navigating through this very treacherous and complicated place we call life on Earth. And while positive energy is something that we know exists, although it's difficult to quantify, even CEOs in different businesses are starting to understand this concept and doing all they can to ensure that the positive energy in the workplace is at maximum. Why would they do this, you ask? Well, we all know that if the employees in a certain workplace are excited and happy and feeling good about themselves and their coworkers, the chances of them being more efficient, working harder, and just being overall more pleasant to be around is significantly higher. And we all know that a happy workplace leads to more productivity amongst employees, as well as more than likely improved performance by the business itself. So for this reason, businesses have been very proactive in ensuring that their work environments are filled with positive energies and promoting a comfortable and very exciting workplace. Now, of course, some of these approaches taken by businesses to ensure that the energy flow is good in their workplace has been met with some resistance by some of the employees, especially when it comes to forced training seminars on how to be happy and things like that. And of course, the methodology may be a little bit problematic depending on who's doing it, but overall, the goal is to make sure that everyone in the workplace is comfortable and happy and positively contributing to the overall energy of the workplace. So we all know that energy is something that is very important as far as ensuring that we're able to function and succeed in an environment that may not have our best interests at heart. And it's critical to understand that whatever energies are manifested within you as a result of your own internal desires or as an influence of others, getting those energies to be manifested into reality is something that each individual person has to do on their own. Even if you're influenced, ultimately it takes the individual who is desiring such a positive effect to manifest such an effect in our lives. And this is the trick as far as getting energy into a tangible and useful concept that can actually physically improve your existence. Of course, this may sound very metaphysical and esoteric to those, but the reality is that it's very real. This actually plays into some of the concepts proposed or taught in the different disciplines involved in meditation. All my folks who practice meditation know the importance of mantras and trying to create a positive vibe within your consciousness. Repeating important words and phrases during sessions of meditation is really effects are twofold. One is to actually speak those words into existence via your affirmation. People may be asking what an affirmation is, Affirmation is simply a chant or mantra that you may use during a meditative session. Now, meditative practitioners understand the importance of mantras because words have a lot of power. And words, many believe, are the ways you can help bring those positive energies into existence by speaking those concepts that you wish to make a reality over and over again. Because we all know that the brain works best by repetition. And yoga practitioners, or I should say meditative practitioners, because there's many disciplines that do meditation as part of their practice. Many practitioners understand the importance of being positive, speaking positive things into your life, and just overall being receptive to the concept of positive energy as a way to help you gain positive energy. So the show today is designed just to stress the importance of keeping those energy flows positive and why we should do so. Now, and of course, I've just been seeing a lot of mumbo jumbo lately and energy this, energy that. You may be asking, but Doc, how do we actually use these concepts to improve our everyday life? Well, that's something we're going to talk about in more detail in the next half of the show. But I did give you a brief example, which is the weight loss example, which we'll get in more detail next. But energies, if used properly, can be an extremely powerful tool in helping you combat some of the issues and struggles and difficulties you face in your everyday reality. So stay with us. On the flip side of the show, we're going to talk more about how we can actually create more positive energy within our everyday life, as well as how to use these concepts to improve things that we approach and try to tackle in our everyday movements. Again, it's Dr. Barry, MD. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned after the break. We have more awesome tips and tricks on how you can help balance and improve your life. Stay with us. Hello, and welcome back to the Health and Wellness Connection, one of the most exciting and intriguing and stimulating radio shows out here, designed to give you more information to help you improve your everyday existence. Again, I'm Dr. Barry, MD, weight loss doctor by day, ER doctor by night. Check me out on my various social platforms, Instagram, Facebook. We'll tell you those at the end of the show. But anyways, back to the topic at hand, positive energy and how to maximize it in your life. Now, we talked briefly about positive energy and why it's important and some of the things that we've noticed in those who practice positive energy. And it's something that many disciplines swear by all over the world. Different cultures have their own variations of energy and how they quantify it as well as measure it in their own existences. We mentioned the Chinese and the feng shui concept of energy. Did I say feng shui? Feng shui, exactly, is actually what I meant. So feng shui is one of those examples we mentioned about different cultures who have found ways to try to measure and quantify energy. But even though energy is critical and something that we should probably use, what are some actual tips to help improve the positive energy in your life and ways you can just really boost those levels so that you can really feel empowered and more energized to take on some of the difficulties that one may face in everyday existence on Earth? Now, one of the first things you can do as someone who wants to help improve the energy, the positive energy in their life, because there are negative energy as well, which you can improve too if you one of those, if you're what we call one of the demonic ones. But no, if you're someone who enjoys positivity, I'm sure positive energy is what you're looking to improve. And here's some tips on how to do that. The first thing you could do as someone who wants to improve the positive energy in their life and their family and friends' life is not to dwell on the negatives. Now, I know some people out there, especially my negative Nancy's out there, love to talk about other people and just dwell on the negative that's going on in the world. Just a quick look on Facebook and Instagram will show you legions of miserable, negative people looking to find happiness in others' misery. These are what we call negative people, or famously known as negative Nancy's. No offense to the Nancy's out there. I'm so unfortunately you had a name that's associated with negativity. But the reality is people who dwell on negative energy, negative concepts, focus on the bad things going on in people's lives as a source of pleasure, Those are what we call negative people. Now, someone who considers themselves a positive person should try their best to not dwell on the negatives. This may also involve not thinking about people who are constantly bringing negative concepts and feelings into your life, not talking about those who are negative or constantly negative to anyone, because remember, we talked about how words are important. Every time you speak negative thoughts into the world, they actually can influence your sensorium, your consciousness, without you even realizing it. Now, many famous psychologists have discussed this, and we'll talk about that in other shows, but words have massive power. Even if you're talking about someone else, just the idea of the negative ideas that you're bringing into the world can be very, very detrimental to you and that person you're referring to as well. So try not to dwell on the negatives, be it negatives in other people, negatives in yourself. Try to acknowledge negatives and try to do your best to correct them, but don't dwell on them, because that's a good way to decrease the positive energy in your life and ensure that you're a miserable or will become a miserable person. All right, so obviously that should be very straightforward as far as not dwelling on the negatives. Another thing you can do to help improve your positive energy and making sure that you're feeling more energized and empowered is to learn to love and accept yourself. It's so easy to look at other people, especially in the social media age where you can look at the gram and see people seemingly, quote unquote, living their best life, quote unquote, unquote, whatever that means. Unfortunately, people have used social media as a gauge to determine whether or not they're being successful or not. The reality is, social media is a lie. 90% of the things you see on there aren't really accurate. People like to promote the good things and ignore the bad things going on in their life. Somehow, society has developed the concept of, if we show people good images of our lives, truth or not, somehow good things will come as a result. Now, this may happen. I've seen it happen actually in person, of people doing what we call faking the funk, quote unquote, and ultimately getting some sort of monetary or popularity gained from it. But ultimately, if you're living a lie and promoting a lie, is that really an ideal way to improve the energy, the positive energy in your life? I would disagree. I would say no. But the key is, don't compare yourself to others and learn to accept and love yourself for who you are. That's really the foundation of any kind of consciousness shift or positive energy thought process. You have to understand that you are perfect as you are. Even if you have some deformity or issue that others may determine is problematic, you have to understand that you are who you are, and loving who you are is critical in order to ensure that your happiness and positive vibes are at their maximum. So please love yourself. That should be the main thing that hopefully you take away from this show today. Now, another way you can help boost those energy levels and making sure that you're living your best life is to ensure that you do not dwell on the past. It's so important. Now, the past is important because, again, we are a product of our past experiences, and things we do and say in the past is usually what results in us becoming who we are today. So the past can definitely build you, and it's critically important. But you have to understand that you cannot undo anything that's already happened. You have to learn how to acknowledge the past, forgive those or yourself if you've wronged others or if others have wronged you, and move forward. That's really the crux of this step here. Learning how to let go and move forward. Because holding on to bitterness and anger for whatever reason is a good way to ensure your energy levels stay in that negative area, which we obviously don't want, because we know negative energy can literally kill you. And we'll talk about that in another show. But the key is learning to let go of the past, especially those harmful or very, very rough experiences that may have given you a sour taste, if you will. Learning to acknowledge those and letting those go is critical. Now, that doesn't mean reintroduce yourself into whatever negative environment that led to those negative experiences. You're not forgetting and say, oh, well, you know what, I was doing some horrible things with such and such person, and I'm going to let go of those things that were done to me in the past, and as a result, I'm going to go back and hang out with those people again. No, you don't want to reintroduce yourself or potentially re-expose yourself to any harm that you may have experienced in the past. But at the same time, don't dwell on those negative experiences, because they can definitely form a new reality, a negative one. Another thing you should learn to do, and to help improve your energy levels, is simply learning to laugh and smile more. People don't understand that laughing and smiling is some of the best medicine to helping deal with stress and anxiety and depression, for that matter. So learning to live and laugh and not to take everything so seriously is also very important. Some people will say things to you or try to do things to you so they can make sure that you're upset and unhappy. Usually because they also are unhappy, and we all know misery loves company. Another concept we'll discuss on our next show or future show regarding negative energy. But we know that energy is contagious, both positive and negative. And so because this is our show on positive energy, we're going to talk about, we're talking about why laughing and smiling is so important, because those things are contagious. Even a miserable person, when they see others smiling, either they'll smile themselves or they'll get upset. Depending on how negative and upset they are will probably determine the reaction. But simply just smiling and laughing with people and creating an environment where that's something that's happy and acceptable can do wonders for improving your positive energy, as well as your surrounding individuals or your surrounding friends and family's energy. Energy is something that's so powerful, yet so little is understood about this. But we do know that our interactions with others is probably the main drivers of our energy levels. And the way you can help promote positive vibes amongst you and your family and friends is learning to laugh and smile more. Those little things can make the world of difference as far as how you and your friends and family experience things and enjoy things. So another way you can help improve the positive energy in your life is, I know it sounds like I'm beating a dead horse here, but get people around you who have a similar vibe. Like we said earlier, if you're around other people who are negative and constantly saying things that are offensive or harmful or detrimental to themselves or others, you need to probably stay away from those kind of people. But being around those who are positive, again, extremely effective way in boosting the levels of everyone's energy, both yours, theirs, and the entire surrounding area. So stay around positive people, talking about positive items and moving toward positive goals. And lastly, if you're someone who's looking to boost that energy level, as someone who's, again, into wellness and fitness, exercise. Exercise is literally one of the most effective tools to helping improve your energy levels, both physically, spiritually, and psychologically. Exercise can help reduce your stress levels. This is actually been proven scientifically. It can also help reduce your anxiety levels. It can help improve your sense of calm and relaxation. All this occurs via biochemical hormones that are actually released during and after workouts. So something simply as riding a bike, walking, swimming, climbing, boxing, just getting some physical activity out of your system can be an excellent way to clear your mind, potentially think of new ideas, concepts. Personally, when I'm working out in the gym or running, those are some of the times I feel the most clear mentally. A lot of times that's actually when I think of new ideas, concepts, things I want to do, people I want to interact with. So it's so important that if you are not physically active, you are literally killing yourself, both physically and spiritually. Getting out there, being more active. If you're someone who likes to be indoors, or you live in an area where being outdoors is not that easy, consider a home workout routine. YouTube is now so powerful. There's literally hundreds of thousands of free workout videos of all different types of exercise you can get on YouTube and just do them. I mean, there's so many different ways now you can really learn to de-stress via exercise that it's now really difficult to be the person who's unable to find ways and people that you can interact with that can help you boost your positive energy and boost your exercise routines. So in a nutshell, positive energy is something you have to work to create for yourself. And the cool thing is that when you create the energy, people will recognize it and gravitate toward you, especially the positive ones. Now, some negative people may start trying to put their energy on you so that you can join them in their miserable place. But those people, we try to avoid them at all costs and try to move forward with those who are like-minded and looking for positive vibes as we are. Now, of course, positive energy is just a part of your overall ideas and concepts on how you approach life, but it's a very powerful one, and I think one that more people need to take seriously to ensure they are actually living their best life, quote unquote. Again, thank you for joining me today on the Health and Wellness Connection podcast. Hopefully you got something out of today's show. Again, any questions or concepts, please reach out to me for anything really, future show topics, questions, whatever you feel pressed about these days. You can reach me on Instagram at DrBarryMD, DrBarrymD. That's my Instagram handle. You can also find me on Facebook, www.facebook.com/nextlevelweightloss, all spelled out. And lastly, on my blog, www.controlyourweight.com. That's W8.com. Thanks for joining us on the Health and Wellness Podcast. Please, next week, more exciting shows will be broadcast. Thank you.